Believing that his wife's death was a freak accident, this soldier tries to move on with his life. However, new details emerge that suggest foul play, and the man is willing to do whatever it takes to avenge his wife. In Tallinn, Estonia, an elderly man and his niece look at a red bicycle, considering it for a Christmas present. However, the girl wants a blue one, suggesting she'll wait. As they depart, the bicycle vendor places a call to arrange for a blue bicycle through illicit means, hinting at a black market transaction. We shift to a train station in Denmark where a white van pulls up beside a blue bicycle owned by Matilda, securely fastened to a post. Two individuals wearing hoods emerge from the van, cut the chain, load the bicycle into the vehicle, and swiftly depart. Meanwhile, Markus Hansen, a soldier stationed in Afghanistan, contacts his wife Emma, who informs him about their daughter's stolen blue bicycle from the train station. Emma also mentions the car's failure to start. Markus shares the news that he's been mandated to remain in Afghanistan for an additional 3 months. Due to their travel problems, Emma and Matilda opt to walk to the train station. Elsewhere, Otto Hoffmann and Lennart are engrossed in presenting an apparently worthless algorithm, asserting its potential to forecast future occurrences. Otto argues that events unfold as a result of preceding factors, but due to incomplete data, they're often dismissed as mere coincidences. Their superiors are unimpressed by the prolonged duration and the hefty expenses incurred in reaching this conclusion. Consequently, they are fired, packing up their belongings before departing. While Otto travels home by train, he notices a tattooed individual in the same carriage and another passenger discarding a sandwich and a beverage before disembarking. Otto's attention shifts as Matilda and Emma board the train. With the carriage crowded, Otto kindly offers his seat to Emma. Suddenly, the train collides with another train leading to Emma's and a few other passengers' deaths. Otto survives, and he feels guilty for Emma's death, seeing that he gave her his seat. Markus receives the devastating news of his wife's demise in the train accident. Markus is relieved of his duty in Afghanistan and returns home. Upon his return, Markus visits the hospital to comfort his grieving daughter, Matilda. Back at his apartment, Otto watches a news report on the train crash, deemed an accident, which claims the lives of 11 individuals. Among the deceased are the tattooed man Otto had noticed on the train, identified as Johan the Eagle Ulrichsen, a former member of a bike gang. Johan was poised to testify against his former gang, the Riders of Justice, and their leader Kurt in a high-profile homicide case. Otto takes his concerns to the authorities, discussing the statistical improbability of the train accident being a mere coincidence. He highlights the suspicious deaths of both Eagle and his lawyer just 13 days before their scheduled testimony. Despite Otto's insights, the officials politely dismiss the significance of the man Otto observed discarding food and drink, deeming it irrelevant to the accident investigation. Meanwhile, at home, Matilda and Markus struggle to cope with the tragedy, straining their relationship. Otto confides in Lennart about his theory regarding the train crash. He proposes hacking into the server of the Fitness World gym chain to gather information on the Eagle's routines, emphasizing his meticulous nature and daily workout habits. If they can confirm that he consistently sits in the same train seat each day, it could indicate a predictable pattern that Kurt, the gang leader, could exploit. Lennart agrees to assist Otto in their investigation. Meanwhile, Markus and Matilda attend Emma's funeral service, where Matilda tearfully questions the circumstances surrounding her mother's death. Markus does his best to console her despite grappling with his own grief. Later that evening, Otto and Lennart visit Markus's home to share their findings. Otto reveals that he was on the same train as Emma and Matilda, and asserts that the train accident was no coincidence, but likely a premeditated murder to eliminate a crucial witness against the leader of the Riders of Justice motorcycle gang. Markus listens as Otto presents detailed information obtained through hacking Fitness World about the Eagle's habits, including his frequent seating in the second row of the second carriage. Otto also points out another suspicious individual who discarded his food and drink before Emma and Matilda boarded, connecting him to the events at Osterport Station the previous night. As they depart, Otto and Lennart plan to enlist the help of Emmenthaler, an expert in facial recognition software. Meanwhile, Markus joins Matilda at the hospital, where they are offered therapy to cope with their grief, though Markus declines. Later that evening, tensions rise between Markus and Matilda when she returns home late and he reacts angrily, culminating in a physical altercation with her boyfriend. As Matilda retreats to her room, Markus reflects on his actions and apologizes. while Matilda continues to investigate the train crash. The following day, Otto and Leonard meet with Emmenthaler to identify the suspicious individual using facial recognition software, leading them to an Egyptian man named Paula with a high resemblance to the suspect. Back at Markus's home, tensions still linger as Matilda remains resentful of Markus's behavior. Otto, Leonard, and Emmenthaler later visit Markus to share their discoveries. They inform Markus that Paula is the brother of Kurt and a skilled electrical engineer specializing in train components. The Eagle was about to testify against his brother before his untimely death in the train accident. The group decides to confront Polly at his house to gather information about the accident, but Paula reacts aggressively, pulling a gun on them. While leaving, Markus unexpectedly turns back and confronts Paula, resulting in a fatal altercation. Leonard takes charge of cleaning the scene and disposing of the body with Emmenthaler's assistance, while Markus and Otto wait in the car. During this time, Leonard encounters a Ukrainian man, Bodashka, in a compromising situation but chooses not to intervene. Returning to the car, they drive Markus home, where he encounters Matilda's boyfriend Sirius and apologizes for his earlier outburst. Despite Matilda and Sirius's encouragement to seek help, Markus remains resistant. Meanwhile, news emerges that Kurt has been acquitted due to the death of the Eagle, the key witness in the train crash. Markus, fueled by a desire for justice, gathers Otto, Leonard, and Emmenthaler, instructing them to gather information on the Riders of Justice for his revenge plan. While Matilda observes their secretive meeting, she recognizes Otto from the train and questions her father about the group's identity. Leonard, in an attempt to conceal the true nature of their activities from Matilda, fabricates a story, claiming that their group is a therapy collective focused on helping him cope with trauma. He offers to act as Matilda's therapist, drawing on his extensive experience with psychologists over the years. Matilda confides in Leonard, expressing her emotional numbness and persistent sadness. Meanwhile, the Riders of Justice interrogate Bodashka for information, with him recalling only glimpses of a well-dressed man named Emmenthaler. At Markus's barn, Emmenthaler grumbles about the inadequate computer setup. Infuriated by the poor resolution of the monitors, Leonard, posing as Matilda's counselor, takes offense at Emmenthaler's behavior, dubbing him an arrogant diva. Matilda, sensing something amiss, confides in Sirius as they observe the group departing to retrieve Emmenthaler's equipment. During the retrieval mission, Leonard attempts to reassure Markus about the necessity of trauma counseling, but Markus reacts angrily, shutting down further discussion. As they approach Emmenthaler's apartment, they are ambushed by the Riders, prompting Markus to engage in a violent confrontation, ultimately rescuing Bodashka. Back at Markus's home, they regroup, deciding to lay low to evade the pursuing Riders. Emmenthaler struggles with the outdated hardware but manages to set up the computers. The group insists on receiving weapons training for their continued safety, with Markus agreeing to train them once the equipment is operational. Meanwhile, Matilda meticulously charts a timeline of events related to her mother's death on her bedroom wall. The next morning, Bodashka, now integrated into the makeshift family, presents Matilda with his gold chain, offering a gesture of comfort and solidarity. In the barn, Markus, Otto, Leonard, and Emmenthaler strategize their revenge against the remaining Riders. Emmenthaler warns Markus that Kurt is heavily guarded and always accompanied by at least 10 men. When Leonard suggests targeting the Riders at their clubhouse, Emmenthaler reveals that the location is under constant surveillance by the authorities. The group begins weapons training in the woods, where Emmenthaler impresses Markus with his adeptness in assembling weapons, despite having no military experience. Later, Emmenthaler informs the group that Kurt and a dozen men will be dining at a restaurant called Antorini that evening, proposing a plan for their attack. Markus agrees to participate, and Emmenthaler coordinates the operation. As they head to the restaurant, tensions rise between Markus and Otto, leading to a physical altercation and Otto being left on the roadside. The group arrives at the restaurant, where Markus and Emmenthaler engage in a firefight with the gang members. Markus succeeds in eliminating the attackers, but Emmenthaler expresses regret for not being able to kill one of them. As Otto returns home, Markus offers him a ride, and later comforts him in a moment of vulnerability. Meanwhile, Matilda continues to grapple with her mother's death, but Otto advises her to stop dwelling on the events. At the barn, Bodashka reveals that Paula was not on the train, leading Leonard to discover a crucial error in their facial recognition results. Realizing their mistake, Markus confronts his grief and frustration, eventually acknowledging the need for help. Otto encourages him to seek counseling for Emma's death and rebuild his relationship with Matilda. However, their respite is short-lived as the riders attack their home. Despite the chaos, Markus and Matilda find solace in each other's arms. The film ends with a heartwarming Christmas gathering, where the group celebrates together. Markus and Matilda present Emmenthaler with a French horn, reigniting his passion for music, while Matilda receives a new red bicycle, symbolizing hope and new beginnings. Elsewhere, the girl from the opening scene receives Matilda's old blue bicycle as a gift, completing a poignant circle of generosity and connection.